Welcome to This Explainer.
Stop
Today,
reactivity.
we're unraveling a bit of a mystery, one that literally affects almost every single one of us. We're looking at why our own minds seem perfectly designed to keep us stressed out, and more importantly, how we can finally turn off that internal alarm. So if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by situations that aren't actually life-threatening, well, you're absolutely going to want to pay close attention. I mean, think about it.
Do you feel exhausted without
even
physical
when you aren't
danger?
in actual physical danger? It's a remarkably common feeling, right? We so often find ourselves just utterly drained by the end of a normal workday, despite, never having to outrun a predator. The crazy truth is, your body is reacting to a sudden passive-aggressive Slack message or an unexpected calendar invite from your boss, the exact same way your ancestors responded to a prowling tiger.
Section 1. The alarm system, our automatic defense. Let's get into it.
Okay, so we are all born with this automatic biological machinery that's designed purely for our survival. And the main culprit behind this really powerful system, it's the amygdala. You can kind of think of it as your brain's internal smoke detector, tucked deep away inside the limbic system or your emotional brain. The very second this tiny little structure perceives a threat, or honestly, even just the smoke of a potential threat, it doesn't sit around waiting for your conscious mind to verify the facts. No way. It instantly floods your bloodstream with adrenaline and noradrenaline. It's basically preparing your body to either fight for your life, run away as fast as you can, or just completely freeze up.
Moving on to Section 2, the rabbit versus the human.
This comparison right here brilliantly illustrates what I like to call our evolutionary glitch. To really grasp why we suffer from chronic stress, we have to compare our highly sophisticated human reaction to that of a wild animal facing actual mortal danger. Picture a rabbit. When a rabbit sees a fox, its alarm fires, it escapes, the danger passes, and then the rabbit goes right back to calmly grazing in the present moment. Boom, done. The enemy only existed in the present. But when we humans encounter danger, or honestly, even just a heavy workload, we react initially just like the rabbit. But long after the event is over, our sophisticated imagination basically traps us. We overthink the past, we project into the future, and we keep ourselves absolutely locked in a state of chronic anxiety.
It's because of our language and imagination that we humans are basically mental time travelers. We live suspended right between ruminating on, say, a minor social faux pas from 2018 and anticipating some catastrophic presentation next week. We actually have a built-in negative bias, so we're constantly predicting harm. And this persistent, never-ending mental activity, it keeps your internal smoke detector blaring loudly, even when there is absolutely zero real fire in the room.
Which brings us to Section 3, the price
Section
of
3.
chronic stress.
The price of chronic
There
stress.
is a severe biological consequence to fighting these imaginary tigers every
Impacts
single
of
day.
stress is
See, when our
tachycardia,
mind perceives a
cortisol
threat that
release,
isn't physically
neuronal
there,
loss,
our body
weak
genuinely
immunity.
doesn't know the difference. It just follows orders. So we trigger tachycardia, which is that rapid heartbeat, shallow and fast breathing, and tight muscle tension. We cause this massive hyperactivation of our sympathetic nervous system and a relentless release of cortisol. And here is the truly alarming part. High levels of cortisol over a long period of time are actually neurotoxic, like literally toxic to your brain. They can lead to neuronal loss and severely suppress your immune system, which leaves you super vulnerable to cardiovascular, digestive, and even dermatological issues. But listen, it is so vital to realize that this isn't a personal failure on your part. It's just a really harsh biological side effect of possessing a highly intelligent, imaginative brain that simply doesn't know how to switch off.
Section 4,
Section 4, window of
tolerance.
tolerance.
Finding balance.
Finding
so let's
balance.
contrast that toxic, chronic state of hyperarousal with our ideal biological home state. Psychologists actually call this baseline the window of tolerance. Think of it as the emotional space where your mind actually processes information properly. When you're hanging out inside this window, you aren't overwhelmed by panic, but you also aren't completely shut down in a freeze state either. This is that comfortable, balanced sweet spot where cognitive and emotional integration is actually possible. Basically, this is where we learn, where we connect with others, and where we truly thrive. Which naturally leads us to the absolute most important question. How do we return
How do we
home?
return to our
How do we
biological
escape
home?
this vicious, exhausting cycle of reactivity, bring our wandering, anxious minds back from the past and the future, and find our way back to a regulated, healthy emotional state right inside that window of tolerance? That's what Section 5 is all about. The
stop method.
Finding the pause.
Finding the pause.
The answer actually lies in using mindfulness,
not just as some abstract, floaty concept, but as a direct biological intervention. We can essentially train our biology using a highly actionable framework, and it's a super easy acronym to remember. STOP, literally. S, stop what you are doing. T, take a breath. O, observe what is happening both inside and outside of you. And P, proceed. By intentionally training ourselves to just pause for a second without judgment, we forcefully bring our minds back into the present moment. We cut the cord on those past habits and future anxieties that are falsely triggering our amygdala. It's basically a manual override button for your brain's automatic alarm. Now, that observe step, that is perhaps the absolute most crucial part. When you feel that tension starting to rise, when the anger or the anxiety really hits you, don't fight it. And please don't judge yourself for feeling it either. Instead, try to greet it with this non-judgmental curiosity. Just mentally say to the anger or the sadness, I see you, just like that. Then watch it change. Watch it rise and fall. By simply observing the emotion instead of becoming the emotion, you allow the alarm to sound, you realize there's no actual fire, and then you just let it pass. And this brings us to a really profound philosophy that perfectly encapsulates the biology we've just decoded today. Viktor Frankl, who was an incredible psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor, put it so brilliantly. He said,
Between stimulus and response, there is a space.
In that space is our power to choose our response. By using the stop method, guys, we are actively widening that space. We are transforming an automatic, prehistoric, knee-jerk reaction into a conscious, free, and measured response. That little space right there, that is where our freedom and our growth truly live. So here's my challenge for you. Notice your very next reaction today, whether it's to, annoying traffic on the way home or a sudden stressful change in your plans. Try to catch the exact moment that internal alarm sounds. Because now you know the mechanics of your own mind. You have the power to step right into that space between stimulus and response. So, the next time the alarm rings and there's no real fire,
what will your conscious response be?
Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep practicing that pause